Greetings, dear viewers. So I know I've put up 2 or 3 of these Steam controller videos recently, and I hope that's not getting tiresome for some of you. But, I mean, hey, I have a new toy. I kind of want to show it off, so that's kind of what I'm doing here. Now keep in mind, playing any competitive first-person shooter is going to be extremely more difficult with any controller, Steam controller or otherwise, if you're playing against players who are using a keyboard or mouse. That's just how it is. The mouse reigns supreme in shooter games. It always has, and barring some incredible technological leap, it always will. On top of that fact, I don't yet have the muscle memory built up to have really fast reaction times when it comes to the Steam controller. Now with a keyboard and mouse, I don't have to think about what I want to do in a game like this. I just do it with a keyboard and mouse. But with a Steam controller, novel little device though it may be, I very often have to devote a significant portion of my focus to just remembering which button to press and when. And whenever you need to make those decisions really quickly, whenever you need to react really quickly, you can see how that can be a disadvantage and a slowdown. So yes, this does slow down my gameplay quite a lot, and therein lies probably the biggest factor of the kind of disadvantage you can expect when learning how to play a real-time PvP game with a Steam controller. You might think that aiming is the biggest factor when it comes to Steam controller versus players using a keyboard and mouse. But actually, aiming is, well, yes, it's a factor. It's something that you have to get used to, and you are going to be at a disadvantage versus other players who are using a keyboard and mouse. But compared to a joystick aim, like with an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller, the touchpad is vastly more useful, and the gyro controls in the Steam controller. Touchpad plus gyro controls means you can be fairly competitive versus mouse players who are aiming. But again, yes, it is a disadvantage still. You still are not quite as accurate versus mouse players. But the aim with a Steam controller isn't the biggest factor when it comes to your disadvantage when learning to play a real-time PvP game with a Steam controller. No, it's the fact that you need to build up that muscle memory, combined with the fact that you also need to relearn how to aim the weapons that you use in games like this. So anyway, alright, well, that huge intro out of the way, you can see from the footage going on in the background here that even with all those factors in play, I'm actually doing pretty okay here. Alright, so what we're going to be seeing a lot of here is me playing as Sniper, well, Infiltrator as Sniper. And I'm going to be playing as Light Assault. We already saw some of the Sniper during the intro of the video, and now we're on to the Light Assault class. Now, primarily the reason I am playing these two classes is because they both allow me to avoid that run-and-gun style. Now, yes, the Light Assault, one of the Light Assault class's greatest strengths is its ability to very effectively play that run-and-gun style. But another of the Light Assault class's greatest strengths is the class's ability to get into positions like this, where I can get the drop on opponents without them necessarily noticing me. So I don't have to be in the fray and ducking around corners and quickly acquiring and reacquiring targets and trying to aim down sights and take them out. All that stuff at the same time. Something that I'm not going to be able to very effectively do when I don't have muscle memory built up for the Steam controller yet. Which is why I'm playing these two classes, because as Light Assault, as you can see, I can get into positions where I can catch targets unaware, attack them from behind, make sure attack from above, things like that. On top of the tower and such, we can see here I take out these 2 targets, and aiming isn't necessarily an issue, but this is a great way for me to practice my aiming because it allows me to play from a position where I don't necessarily have to dodge a lot of incoming attacks. Now here, we can see that I have to use my pistol against this target, because with this particular run, I actually survived long enough on top of that tower, running around the tower in various capacities, to run out of ammo. So I had to use my pistol on that guy. I had 2 rounds left in my AF-19 Mercenary, and I squeezed off one of those 2 rounds in this particular clip. And as we can see here by those session stats, in 11 minutes and 55 seconds I got 10 kills and 19 certification points, and that's actually pretty decent even for mouse and keyboard. So with the Steam controller, it's actually doing pretty great in my opinion. I'm the one playing, so I can't really say if it's phenomenal or whatever, but and I wasn't gonna say that, but anyway, it's pretty good either way. I wasn't planning on saying that, but I said the word anyway. In any case, as we can see here, what I want to show with these two clips is that it's not all very easy to do the run and gun thing. I tried doing that, I wasn't able to pursue the target effectively, and here's a play that I would have made with the keyboard and mouse and probably had more success with. I harassed that max. Yes, I intended to fire on that max to harass that player, to harass the max, keep it from doing what it wants to do. And then I jumped down here to the ledge by the spawn point, and in that situation with a keyboard and mouse, that may very well have turned out to be 3 kills. Instead, with the muscle memory I have built up currently for the Steam controller, it didn't turn out quite as well as it might have with the keyboard and mouse. Alright, so now we're switching over to the sniper role, and I'm actually really enjoying sniping with the Steam controller, because aiming with the controller is so much fun, because you actually... Okay, so here's how it works. You aim in their general direction. You get the gun pointed at them using your right thumb on the trackpad, on the right pad, on the Steam controller, and then you actually move the controller, so you use the gyro sensors. You actually move the controller for that fine-tuned aiming. So it makes it really, really fun, because you're actually moving the controller in the direction of your target, and then you pull a trigger. You're actually pulling the right trigger. At least that's how I have it set up. It's really fun to play first-person shooters with this, which is why I really want to get into playing the competitive kinds, because that's the kind that I tend to like to play a lot when it comes to first-person shooters. And the ability to aim this way is just so much fun. And again, I'm playing sniper, because it makes it so that I don't have to get into that run-and-gun style. Here I get a lucky shot. I actually tag this target's foot and take out a high-threat kill there, which was actually pretty cool. Somebody standing perfectly still gets picked off there by my sniping. I'm in a pretty good spot at this point, so I decided to hold here and take out as many targets as I can. Now this next shot is actually really, really cool. It's pretty illustrative of what you can do with a Steam controller. The target was dropping down, and I was still able to get that shot off in that last couple of pixels that they had. Oh, and here, see right there on the mini-map where I just highlighted, I see a target running off toward our Sunderer. You see our target off to the Sunderer off to the southeast? I see a lone target moving that direction, and I figure it's got to be a light assault or an engineer trying to one-man this Sunderer, trying to take it out with explosives. And yep, I'm able to sneak up on him from behind, which is kind of run and gun. As you can see, I'm maneuvering around pretty well, able to take out that player. And then I turn around and I spot this cloaking field for their Sunderer, take out another player and get moving. And I realize this might look like mouse and keyboard, but yeah, this is definitely Steam controller play. It's really fun to be able to do this. So as light assault, I pull up the new rocket launcher that light assaults get, and I begin dealing damage to their Sunderer here, which also serves to reveal it temporarily, so that hopefully friendlies can join in. I do get taken down at that point, but I do spawn back in, hit the auto spawn button, and I want to get back out there. See some explosives already lined up on the ground. I pull out my rocket launcher again. My teammates are already taking out, since I was able to reveal it, call attention to it, moving around. That shaking of the gun that you saw right there might have been because I was tapping the trigger. So yeah, you kind of have to practice some trigger discipline a little bit. I don't know if trigger discipline is the right term, but you have to kind of practice steadying your hand a little bit whenever you fire, because your actual hand motions can affect your aim here. And there are settings for helping to reduce that in the Steam controller. This is in the Steam controller settings. As we can see here, they're rushing in. Their Sunderer is down at this point, and here's this engineer trying to drop some explosives. I'm barely able to get that engineer, take them out. And in true NC fashion, I shoot through my friendly NC player right there to get to the opposing TR player behind him, or who was in front of him at the time. But in true NC fashion, I shoot through a friendly to hopefully get a kill. Alright, so now I know there are explosives here by the Sunderer, so I switch over to Engineer, and as you saw, that was kind of clunky. It's kind of clunky managing the UI with the Steam controller for right now for me. Alright, I'm using the repair tool here, the Engineer tool, which can actually disarm explosives. And just as I finish disarming that last explosive, somebody undeploys the Sunderer and nearly runs me over, also in true NC fashion. Oh man, that's just what the NC do. We don't give a crud about anybody else here. So anyway, he actually gets that Sunderer taken out by driving it out there. I'm not sure why you would do that. The explosives were disarmed. We took out the enemy Sunderer. There was no more pressure on it, but that player decided to go ahead and undeploy the Sunderer, pull it back out into the line of fire, and got the Sunderer destroyed. Which, of course, and unfortunately leaves me in a position where I'm a lone engineer with nobody to resupply and no vehicles to repair. So now I'm a lone engineer running around. I don't have the mobility of a light assault. I don't have the shield of a heavy. I don't have the cloak of an infiltrator. I don't have the jetpack of a light assault. I don't even have the healing of a medic. So I'm just running around as an engineer now, trying to figure out what I need to do. And there's this big open area, and I say, you know what? Let's just go ahead and go for it. So I cross underneath the tower here. We can see TR manned all up in those middle floors, manning those gun emplacements. Got some fire coming in from the garage area over there, and I decided to drop my ammo pack for a friendly. And here we get to see a little bit of aiming done in a more on-the-ground style, when I don't necessarily have a height advantage or a cover advantage or anything like that. So we can see some aiming there. Got a few shots off, and I'm kind of struggling with getting the aim down sights to toggle off and stuff like that. But you can see it's actually still pretty effective, just taking some cover, maneuvering in a fashion that you would kind of expect. And I do get taken out there because I actually ended up shooting that little pillar in front of me instead of taking out the target, and I got flanked by another TR coming in right there. And at that point, I said, you know what? This has been pretty fun. I'm going to go ahead and cut off the session at this point so I can take all these... I wanted to say shadow play, but I'm not using NVIDIA shadow play anymore for this kind of thing. These time shift clips, which is a feature of action that functions similarly to shadow play. But yeah, I wanted to take all these time shift clips and make a video out of them, and so that's that's one of the reasons I ended the session there. Also, because there's so much strain on your hands whenever you're learning a new control scheme, because you're trying to make sure you press the right things at the right times. It's kind of difficult to explain as far as the fatigue is concerned. But I'd been playing with a controller for a while, decided to go ahead and take a break, and so that's where I went ahead and ended this session. Anyway, the Steam controller is a whole lot of fun to play with. I hope you folks enjoyed this. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you folks next time.